Yeah, I'm just putting this on.
Good afternoon. I'm Valerie Peaches Embry. This is John Magny. We're going to start the afternoon celebration out with a tune by Billy Taylor, made famous by Nina Simone, entitled, I Wish I Knew How It Would Feel to Be Free. I wish I knew how it would feel to be free. I wish I would break all the chains binding me. I wish I could say all the things I should say. Say 'em loud, say 'em clear, for the whole world to hear. I wish I could share all the love that's in my heart. Remove all the bars that keep us apart. I wish you could know what it means to be me. Then you'd see and agree that every man should be free. I wish I could give all that I've been longing to give. I wish I could live now I've been longing to live. I wish I could do all the things I've been longing to do. I'm way overdue. I'll be starting anew. If I learned I could fly, well, I'd soar to the sun and look down to the sea. And you know then I'd know what it means to be free. Yes, I know, yeah, I know what it means. Yes, yes, I know. What it feels to be free, how it feels how it feels to be free.
They want to swallow me whole, politicized, exploited, hypersexualized, dismissed, and misplaced. Deterioration of my body, invasive invasion of my thoughts, distress in my soul. For this may be an interpretation of resilience for how you listen to my narrative, because I speak with conviction. Adaptation is a property of alchemy for me. My body remembers what my mind cannot. I stretch and nourish my soul to elevate her, to experience humility, embody forgiveness, to cope and heal. Reflection and mutability is imperative. To display these pains that are suppressed in the act of sympathy, which is made to be believed as empathy. Inferiority is supposed to implicate my courage, condemn my resistance, and discredit my narrative. I will be the first and last to tell you, no man of flesh can break my spirit. No entity will strip me of my light, and no existence will compromise my well-being. Even when my flesh can no longer endure being engulfed in flames, my ancestors will prevail. She is so afraid of healing her wounds, for she knows if she doesn't, she just might bleed out on you. Brianna's body remembers what Brianna's mind cannot. Exhausted, I fell to my knees into child's pose. I'm overwhelmed by how clear I can breathe. Clear. I can see what doesn't exist in this plane. I am hearing cries that haven't fallen yet. I am feeling my ancestors dancing in protection when everyone around me has fallen short. Intimately, I taste my generational curses from anywhere. My body remembers what my mind cannot. Corrective and redemptive, I know them so well. I'm feeling isolated because I'm afraid of what I do not know and how much I cannot forget. I am adaptive. Dropping into my vessel to explore the expansive and disruptive agony and violence, mistrust and discomfort. Her eyes are shut from a distance, though she can hear havoc and destruction. My body remembers what my mind cannot. Closer in step, it rattles, shakes, dismantles her foundation. Her roots she planted so long ago are ripped and scattered. She begs to open her eyes. It inches closer. She is terrified. I am terrified. She glances to the side and finds stone feet, a giant. It's me. Kolikwe whispers, "Is this who you are afraid of? Is this who you sprint from, tumble with, fight and discredit?" She holds the weight of my head, opens my hand and proclaims, "Look. Do you see you've cut yourself, protecting yourself in stone?" My body remembers what my mind cannot. I cannot carry you or me if my hands are not coarse. I cannot love you unconditionally if my heart is not soft. I cannot hold space for you if my voice does not carry noise. You will never know. No one will. They will never know the violence it took to become this gentle. To form thought this expansively, to hold my enemy with grace, who is most of the time someone I've known for far too long. Your body remembers what your mind cannot. You will never know how fearful I am to stoke the fire within me. But when I do break out of that cage they imprisoned me in, and the one where I've stayed, they will be blinded by the power and peace I call back. They will be silenced by how beautiful I have been and always will be. You will know how intelligent I am. They will know how euphoric I am. In my divine feminine, I will meet you there. I will travel the darkest abyss on the stage of humility. Even through your projections, you no longer have my discretion. By the rivers we must flow to suffocate the fire so oftenly disguised as our flesh, when we know so well it must be transmuted to avoid the defeat of rebuilding. Even through my rageful tears, I will meet you there. Out of all of the universe's truths, you will always know me as your karma.
Hello, hello, everybody. That was a beautiful spoken word from Brianna and a beautiful song by Peaches. Absolutely I love that music. My name is Sherry Garrett. I'm a second-year student here at CSU, studying musical theater with a minor of film studies. I am the current homecoming royalty queen of 2022 here at CSU. Thank you. Hosted by the Black African American Cultural Center. Welcome to the 2023 Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. celebration. We are happy to have you all join us on this beautiful day to let your voices be heard. Our theme this year is voice. Violence, oppression, isolation cannot endure. Let us remember beyond today that the more hands that are interlocked, the heavier the burden we can all lift. Thank you to Valerie Embry and the spoken word artist, Brianna Abuya. Brianna is a fourth-year student studying ethnic studies here at CSU. Please join me as we acknowledge that the lands we are on today is a traditional and ancestral homelands of the Arapaho, Cheyenne, and Ute nations and people.
Colorado State University acknowledges with respect that the land we are on today is the traditional and ancestral homelands of the Arapaho, Cheyenne, and Ute nations and peoples.
This was also a site of trade, gathering, and healing for numerous other Native nations.
We recognize the indigenous peoples as original stewards of this land and all the relatives within it.
As these words of acknowledgement are spoken and heard, the ties nations have to their traditional homelands are renewed and reaffirmed.
CSU is a land-grant institution, and we accept that our mission must encompass access to education and inclusion.
And significantly, that our founding came at a dire cost to Native nations and peoples whose land this university was built upon.
This acknowledgement is the education and inclusion we must practice in recognizing our institutional history, responsibility, and commitment.
To our volunteers, thank you no matter if you volunteered this morning at our community service event that happened at 8 a.m. in partnerships with Homeward Alliance or volunteered during the march. We thank you. Also, thank you to the BIPOC Alliance for their powerful words at the start of the march. We are thankful to have such a powerful organization right here in our communities that breathe inclusion. We had several march leaders this year who were recognized during the charge. Please let us acknowledge them. From Poudre Libraries, Ludovina Rueda and Dolores Mata. From Summit Stone, Daniela Tijerina Benner and Natalie Brown. From Colorado State University, Michael Boutrom and Ro Bubar. From Front Range Community College, Aparna Palmer. From the city of Fort Collins, Monica Bach and Marissa Olivias. From Poudre School District, Aloha Arceo Appease. And the students, felicitators, and staff of Colorado Youth Diversity Conference of Rocky Mountain High School. If you want to learn more as to why these community members were selected by their peers and colleagues, please check out our website. And congrats again, and thank you sincerely for being you. Often referred to as the Black National Anthem, Lift Every Voice and Sing, was a hymn written as a poem by NAACP leader James Weldon Johnson in the 1900s. His brother, John Rosamond Johnson, composed the music for the lyrics. A choir of 500 school children at the segregated Stanton School, where James Weldon Johnson was principal, first performed the song in public in Jacksonville, Florida, to celebrate President Abraham Lincoln's birthday. At the turn of the 20th century, Johnson's lyrics eloquently captured the solemn yet powerful and hopeful appeal for the liberty of Black Americans, set against the religious invocations of God and the promise of freedom. The song was later adopted by NAACP and promptly used as a rally cry during the civil rights movement of 1950s and 60s. Please help me welcome back to the stage Ms. Valerie Embry, as she is accompanied by Mr. John Magny on the keyboard.
every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring, ring with the harmony of liberty. Let all rejoice, sing, rise, high as the listening skies. Let our praise sound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us, facing the rising sun of a new day begun. Let us march on till victory is won. Stony the road we trod, bitter the chastening rod, felt in the day when hope unborn had died. Yet with the steady beat have not our weary breath come to the place for which our Father sighed. We have come over a wave that our tears have been watered. We have come treading our path through the blood of the slaughtered, out from the gloomy past. Now we stand at last, where not the white gleam of a bright star is cast. God of our weary tears, God of our silent tears, thou who hast brought us thus far on the way, thou who hast by thy might led us unto the light, kept us forever in the path we pray. Lest our feet stray from the places, our God, where we met thee. Lest our hearts, drunk with the wine of the world, get thee. Shadowed beneath thy hand, may we forever stand, true to our God, true to our native land, true to our native land.
That was beautifully sung, Peaches. Thank you again, Miss Embry. Please, would the following people come to the stage in this order? From Colorado State University, Interim President Rick Miranda. From Front Range Community College, President Colleen Simpson. From the City of Fort Collins, Mary Jenny Arndt. And from Poudre School District, Superintendent Bryant Kingsley. They will each give a brief welcome in order, announcing and starting with Rick Miranda.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's a wonderful moment to be here. Our theme today is voice, as you've heard. Violence, oppression, isolation cannot endure. And Dr. Martin Luther King said it well in his acceptance speech for the Nobel Prize in 1964. There is a need for mankind to overcome oppression and violence without resorting to violence and oppression. Civilization and violence are antithetical concepts. Sooner or later, all the people of the world will have to discover a way to live together in peace, and thereby transform this pending cosmic elegy into a creative psalm of brotherhood. Now, we know that one of the core drivers of oppression and isolation is inequality, and we must strive to address that. Dr. King noted as well that all life is interrelated. The agony of the poor impoverishes the rich, and the betterment of the poor enriches the rich. Whatever affects one directly affects all indirectly. Now, on behalf of Colorado State University, we are grateful that the Poudre School District, Front Range Community College, the City of Fort Collins, and all of you have come together for this important community building celebration over 50 years after the death of Dr. King. And as a community, we can carry a message of hope, not just for a minority group, but for a new majority that includes, touches, and respects everyone. And we hope that these steps together lead to a future of justice and equality for all. Now, throughout the country today, communities all over the United States are celebrating, reflecting, and acting in ways aligned with Dr. King's vision. And if we unite similar groups across the nation, we can usher in change on a national and even global scope. So on this day, let us celebrate the memory and vision of Dr. King, as well as unlock the potential for equality and justice at the deepest levels of our society.
Good afternoon, community. As I look out in this audience, I see hundreds of us gathered together at this intersectional moment, representing our diverse, inclusive community. It brings me honor to be standing here in the front of you representing Front Range Community College. Front Range is all about access and success for all students, as well as our focus on diversity, equity, inclusion to strengthen the college, but more importantly, the community that we live in. Today, we join together from broad spectrum of backgrounds in the spirit of the late Dr. Martin Luther King to share one voice. And so when you think about our theme, violence, oppression, isolation cannot endure. One voice is our rally cry today. Whether you thrive for social justice, defend women's rights, advance the cause of the LGBTQ+ community, battle poverty and inequality, champion the rights for non-citizens and all people, this afternoon we come together to share one voice. Thank you.
An individual has not started living until they can rise above the narrow confines of the individualistic concerns to the broader concerns of the community, of humanity. Our intersectional march for equality and inclusion took us past homes where some of the community's first African Americans lived. Each of those houses is a landmark in the historical march for civil rights. As a community and as a nation, we have seen progress, but we hope the steps we take together today will set us on a much longer journey toward inclusivity and justice for everyone in every single neighborhood. As we have started to realize the road to equity must take us much deeper and much farther, we must review and revise differences and inequities buried deep within our laws and practices. Change will take patience for some and discomfort for others. But like the satisfaction of a long walk on a cold Colorado morning, the collective journey towards justice and equality will bring social improvement and satisfaction. Just like diverse groups of people have joined together today, we will need to combine them to our individual efforts. Your cause is our collective cause.
Good afternoon. True compassion is more than flinging a coin to a beggar. It comes to see that a system that produces beggars needs to be repaved. We are called to be the Good Samaritan, but after you lift so many people out of the ditch, you start to ask, maybe the whole road to Jericho needs to be repaved. This is my favorite quote from Dr. King, because it gets to the heart of the problem that we are collectively trying to solve. It's not about one person. It's not about symbolic or token type gestures. It's about looking at the bigger picture and recognize that we must disrupt systems that are continuing to perpetuate inequalities and inequities. Simply put, we must and can do more. Our students, our children, our community expect us to do more. We can not only identify what inequities our marginalized students and community members experience and find where those inequities exist. We must determine why they exist in the first place. We must work together to understand them at their root. We must work collectively together to disrupt them and replace them with more equitable solutions. We must continue working side by side with staff, students, families, and community members to make sure that every child has the opportunity to grow through rigorous and inspiring educational experiences. Equity must be at the center of everything that we do. Only then can we realize the dream of Dr. King, in which children of every race, orientation, culture, and belief system truly have equal opportunities to achieve academic success and feel like they belong. Thank you.
Hello, me again. Yeah. As the interim president of Colorado State, we're honored to have hosted today's celebration, Martin Luther King celebration, since its inception. So many years ago. And I'm proud to introduce you to our next president, Amy Parsons, who's here with us today. Amy? Just a couple more weeks.
As the new president at Front Range Community College, I started my tenure in August 1st. So I've been here 4 months in the great state of Colorado. And I am so proud to be here and to be able to partner with my fellow colleagues and then all of you out there in the community. You are why we do this work. And we want to make sure we continue to uplift and build an inclusive and equitable economy for us. And so I would like to say thank you for having Front Range being a part of this celebration and we look forward to continue living the legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.
We're thankful to see our community gather today as we have for years and years in the past. I don't know how many years, but this is nothing new for Fort Collins to gather for MLK Day, and that makes us also very excited to have this wonderful celebration. The city of Fort Collins is what we are because of who you are. That's simple. I'm happy to stand alongside many of my fellow elected officials and appointed officials to serve as your mayor. Most importantly, I'm happy to stand alongside of you. That's not in this. We have a lot of work ahead of us to create a sense of belonging for every single person in our community, and I promise you that we are dedicated to work for you to ensure this happens.
As the proud superintendent of the Poudre School District and resident of this community for just over a year and a half, I can't tell you how pleased I am to be with all of you today and amongst all of us who are community leaders. Whatever role that you play, you are a leader. I'm particularly grateful to join the leaders of the two of our other outstanding centers of learning, as well as the mayor of our hometown. Collectively together, we know both in our homes and in our classrooms, it's where students will either choose to develop inclusive mindsets, values, and beliefs, or not. We also know that it's where our children will learn the power dynamics that exist across this world, across our country, and across this community, or not. We also know that it is our obligation as leaders of this community to ensure that our young people are developing respect for themselves, respect for others, fostering their sense of community and belonging, and learning collectively together in partnership with us to how to be a positive force for change through education. Thank you again, everybody.
Just let me walk this road of life with you, step by step, uphill or down, no matter where it's leading to. Ooh. Reach out and take my hand. If you should find a hill along the way too steep to climb, lean on me. I'll never let you down. Lean on me. I'll keep you standing tall. Oh, somehow together we'll make it. We'll make it. Please let me dream the dreams you're dreaming of, whether big or small, together we will make them all come true. My love, you can dream the impossible with all your heart, and if your dreams keep falling all apart, you can just lean on me. I'll keep you standing tall. can make it together. We can make it. With you, we gonna make it. Yes, we are. We're gonna make it. We gonna make it.
Every time she comes up here, I'm just smiling. I love her voice so much. But thank you very much. Thank you to the leadership. We appreciate each of you and the words you've shared. Before we continue with the program, let us take a brief moment and send a special welcome to all the public officials who have joined us today. Please stand. To Colorado State University faculty, staff, and students, thank you again for being the host of this annual celebration. Please stand and take a bow, especially to our tech staff. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was a man, a Black man, a brother, a father, a husband, a reverend, a Christian, a member of the oldest historical Black fraternity, Alpha Phi Alpha fraternity. An educator, a doctor, a visionary, and an activist amongst so many other things. He did not just fight for Black rights, but for all rights who have been and continue to be marginalized. As we celebrate his legacy, it would be remiss of us to only celebrate what he said and place limits on what he did. Join me in welcoming our keynote, who will speak to us through spoken word. Literary blogger, his work has been called transformative, inspiring. Jean-Claude Futrell is a multidisciplinary performer. He is a national poetry slam champion and has toured over 300 colleges and universities as one of the country's top spoken word artists. He is also the founder of the World Champion Slam New Book Poetry venue. His work has been featured on National Public Radio, Upworthy.com, Apple TV, The Huffington Post, and the PBS special, The American Graduate. He is also a playwright and has written for KGNU's Black Radio Days Destination Freedom. Last year, the three-part series, Give Me Liberty, a freedom story was featured during Black History Month in Juneteenth on 88.5 FM. He has received numerous awards for his work as a community leader, including the Distinguished African American Who Make a Difference Award by Denver Urban Spectrum, Metropolitan State University's Distinguished Alumni Award, and Diversity Artist of the Year from the National Association of Campus Activities. Without further ado, join me in the welcoming in Panama, Soweto to the stage.
Keep that applause going for yourselves, as a matter of fact, please. Oh, you don't know who you're out here with. Please keep the applause going for yourselves on this glorious day, please. Can we also keep the applause going for all of the performers, speakers, and everyone else that made this day happen in this space? Thank you. Brothers and sisters, we do not need to dream. Mothers and fathers, we do not need to dream. Grandparents, aunts, uncles, we do not need to dream. Caregivers, we do not need to dream. CSU, we do not need to dream. Look about you right now. Look about you. In the celebration of peace and struggle, fairness and justice, do you show up? CSU, we do not need to dream. Not on this glorious day. As we sit in the cradle of the Rocky Mountains on Arapaho, Cheyenne, Ute, and Navajo lands, settled by the Spanish in the San Luis Valley, a beauty with no equal, do we celebrate what brings us together, not what breaks us apart. CSU, we do not need to dream. In a world dominated by opinion and bigotry, ignorance and politics, do you show up in the spirit of healing and growth? Do you come together? CSU, we do not need to dream. When it seems darkest, do you rise in the light and away from the dark? Do we lock arms? Do we march as one? Have we seen our neighbors as we see ourselves? Have we seen our neighbors as we see ourselves? Have we forgotten what pains us and risen from its ashes? Have we opened our hearts and been willing to receive? Do we march in the spirit of nonviolent protest? That is a question, that's not rhetorical. Do we march in the spirit of nonviolent protest? Do we march in the spirit of nonviolent protest? Yes. Do we march as a collected statement against oppression? Yes. Do we lift every voice and sing? Yes. Are we bonded by what brings us together? Yes. Is today merely a symbol of our resolve? Do we practice inclusion every day? Do we advocate for those who cannot? Is ally just another four-letter word? And could someone tell me, please, when did woke become one? Do we acknowledge that our differences make us stronger? Do we celebrate the richness of planet Earth by those seeking citizenship at our borders every day? Brothers and sisters, do we march in the memory of the man who dared to say, it may well be The greatest tragedy of this period of social transition is not the glaring noisiness of the so-called bad people, but the appalling silence of the so-called good people. Today, you are not silent. Today, you stand. Today, you choose to make yourselves breathing symbols of justice and peace. Be accounted for when you are called upon. Do not fear what others think, and embrace that first instinct of empathy. Yes, empathy. Empathy is an instinct. It is programmed into your very being. It is a fail-safe to ensure our survival, because none of us can survive on our own. There is power in peace. CSU, we do not need to dream. I was raised by a Tuskegee Airman. Now that's a little bit like saying I was raised by Superman. The Tuskegee Airmen were the first African-American aviators in these United States Armed Forces. They flew over 15,000 individual combat missions and served honorably for a nation that was not yet willing to see them as equal or deserving. I was raised by a man who has his own page in history. Maybe you know him. Lieutenant Colonel John W. Mosley. Born in Denver in 1921, enrolled here at CSU in 1939. In the recorded era, becoming this institution's first black athlete. When John Mosley enrolled here at Colorado State University in 1939, he managed to cover his first year of tuition with an academic scholarship. Yeah. Anybody else here on scholarship? Make some noise. You on scholarship? You up here? Let's go. You earned it. But as an African American, he faced many obstacles. He was barred from living in college residence halls. He encountered racism and bigotry and was denied service at the local restaurants. But despite those limitations, he made the CSU football team as a walk-on candidate. The first black student to ever play here or in the Big Seven. And you guys can make some noise for that. After graduation, he battled discrimination in the military too. Although he would eventually become one of the earliest black pilots in World War II as a Tuskegee Airman, here he was also a letter winner in football for 3 straight years and was an all-conference wrestler. He succeeded and became a symbol of hope through seemingly insurmountable odds. CSU, you do not need to dream. His greatest asset, and my grandmother would say this too, was his stubbornness. The man literally did not accept the terms dictated by the word no. No, you cannot go to college. No, you cannot play sports. No, you cannot fly. Imagine if the faces I see before me right now were the faces he would have seen back then, the things that he could have accomplished. the things that we could have accomplished. One can only imagine what may have happened if his potential was unlocked through nurturing. The same man nurtured me. He would wake me up at 5 a.m. in the morning every day to lift weights with him in the basement. He was 68. I was 13. The same man nurtured others. After retiring from the Air Force, he once again served our country at the Department of Health, Education, and Welfare, where one of his most important responsibilities was drafting and overseeing the newly started Head Start program in 1970. Yes. He was a Congressional Medal of Honor recipient. Yeah, you don't see those every day. But more importantly, he was my grandfather. He taught me how to tie a tie and how to drive a car. He taught me the importance of loving. He taught me the importance of hard work and never to settle for mediocrity. My grandfather was the son of a slave. He rose above it all and taught me to do the same. Recently, my wife and I, can I pause right there in my speech? Honey, Sydney, that's my wife. Can you wave and say hi? And my kids, hey, River, can you wave hi? And Solomon, can you wave hi? Can you guys say hi? Everybody wave and say hi to my family. Say hi. Maybe one day they'll go here too. Recently, my wife and I ran a campaign to change the name of a Denver neighborhood to Mosley. The area once being Denver's airport and named after a Ku Klux Klan member. Talk about it. We don't say that name, though. This name change was to be transformative, and this campaign took place during the George Floyd protest and demands to end police brutality. And you better believe the kids and me and my wife and our family, we were out there marching just like y'all. That's right. We raised nearly 10 grand on GoFundMe. We produced TV commercials. We held community discussions. We met with elected officials and professional athletes who only work on Sundays. And ultimately, the name change failed due to the fear and cowardice of a few privileged homeowners. But with the leadership of State Representative Jason Crow, we worked together to author and pass H.R. 4172, a bill to name the new community-based outpatient clinic in the Department of Veterans Affairs to be located in Aurora, Colorado, the new Lieutenant Colonel John W. Mosley Clinic. CSU, that was people coming together. We did not need to dream. Each of us can remember a time when we wished we could change. My grandfather taught us to let go of the dullness beneath you and reach for something higher. There is greatness in us all. You can be weightless. You can soar. You can rise above the loudness of earth and the troubles of humanity. Each of us can remember a time when we wanted to change, to blossom, to evolve into our final form, like caterpillars and tadpoles. If I was to write a letter to them, I think it would go something like, "Dear caterpillars and tadpoles, I feel like you sometimes, all potential and hope, waiting for another day, another chance to prove that I am more than mistakes and flesh, clumsy and common, a pedestrian in a dream world. Dear caterpillars, it is probably better off that you are blind. You can't be tortured by your own reflection. Your stubby limbs and drum-shaped head make you an eyesore. You are a far cry from the winged creatures you will one day become, the gliding crayons, the cherubs of fields and forests. You are slow and forgotten, caterpillar. Tell me, do you spin those silken walls to castle yourself from those bigoted eyes that find you unsightly? How does it feel to be a vessel, a means to an end? Do you see yourself as cosmic gift wrapping, like a prelude to better things like rebirth and spring and growth? You are a reminder to us that the road to all things free and beautiful is often hard and ugly. Dear tadpoles, no legs, no fins, trapped somewhere just beneath the surface. Tell me, do you have revelations of walking? Do you dream of dancing? Right foot over left foot, right foot over left foot for the world to share in your rhythm. Do you feel caged in your own skin? If you could, you would claw your way out. Does it hurt to grow those arms? But do you do it to climb? Does the bottom mock you? Do you feel like if you do not grab hold of the very sky itself, no one will pull you upright? Dear tadpole, stand as the rest of the world pushes you back down. Be a dreamer. Do what they say can't be done, then do it again, because you can. Dear caterpillar, grow legs, grow wings, blossom a rose garden on your back and take to the sky. Set the heavens ablaze with reds, blues, and greens. Shed your shell by your shadow. Drop the ugly from your hide. Like dusk, drop sunlight from its shoulder blades. Dear caterpillars, dear tadpoles, transform into something beautiful, because the ugly inside of me needs to know that I can change too. CSU, we don't need to dream. Do you march in the spirit of nonviolent protest? Yes. CSU, we do not need to dream. Do you march in the spirit of freedom and justice? Yes. CSU, we do not need to dream. We march in remembrance of those that marched through Selma, that marched through Montgomery, that marched through Birmingham, and Washington, and Ferguson, and Sanford, and Baltimore, and Minneapolis. CSU, we do not need to dream. Locked in voice today. Violence, oppression, isolation cannot endure. I will say that again. That is the theme for today, and I find it so powerful and so fitting. Repeat after me. Violence. Oppression. Isolation. Cannot endure. Take a moment to look to the person directly to your left. Look directly to the person to your left. And please tell them, you have a voice. Now take a moment, if no one was to your left, and turn to the person to your right and tell that person, you can change the world. CSU, did you know that you were looking at stardust? Yeah, All my scientists and nerds know what I'm talking about. It took billions of years for you to get here. Do you believe that? I'm going to repeat that. It took billions of years for you to get here. Yes. 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 Future scientists. Future scientists. It took time and pressure. It took patience and hope. You, the tiniest pieces of forever. Each of us will take a path that leads humanity somewhere new, somewhere undiscovered. And each new step takes us further past the impossible. As once bits of star and dust, we dreamt of becoming planets and moving with purpose. Each new step, each new piece of forever, becoming stars. You are our greatest asset, so fill this space with the best parts of you. It took billions of years for you to get here. CSU, we do not need to dream. Dr. King understood the power of education and the role it plays in creating a more just society. He said, the function of education is to teach each one to think intensively and to think critically. Intelligence plus character. That is the goal of true education. Our work is not done. Dwayne, our work is not done, brother. Our work is not done. This holiday is more than a celebration. It is a call to action. Do you hear me? This holiday is more than a celebration. It is a call to action. Dr. King said, everybody can be great. Let's see if you can fill this in for me. Because everybody can serve. Who said that? Throw your hand up. Top of the class right there. Give that man a round of applause. There's more to it than I have a dream, folks. There's more to it than that. You don't have to go to college and have a degree to serve. You do not need to make your subject and your verb agree to serve. You need only have a heart full of grace and a soul generated by love. That's Dr. King. So spend this holiday in service. March if you can. If you can't, donate your time to a worthy cause. Feed the less fortunate. Support your local schools. Where are all my educators? Give a round of applause for all of our educators who kept our kids engaged during the pandemic, who gave their time, who learned Zoom. Please, sign your name to a petition. Open your home to your neighbors. Encourage mental and physical wellness. This holiday isn't rooted in religious tradition or solemn mourning of the dead. It is a call to action. It is a call to action. It is a call to action. Who knows what the whole title was for the March on Washington? For jobs and freedom. Was it jobs for just black folks and freedom? Was it jobs for just white folks and freedom? It was jobs and freedom for us all. This is a reminder on the principles upon which this country was founded, but never truly lived. CSU, we do not need to dream. We are the bellows that stoke the fire. We are the flakes atop the avalanche. We are the cool breeze beneath the hurricane. As we had been crushed by the pandemic, left homeless by the recession, victims of institutional oppression and disenfranchisement, do we dare come outside again as one? Yeah. Do we dare say that this is what must be said, but is never said? Do we live to our fullest potential as compassionate beings? Yes. Do we understand that there can be no forgiveness if there is no acknowledgement? Oh, I need that yes again. I need that yes again. Today is a call to action. Will you accept the challenge? Do you aspire to a greater understanding of humanity? Do you share your voice? CSU, we do not need to dream. As you accept this challenge, will you open yourself to give your time to a charity, a nonprofit, a school? Will you do more than just thoughts and prayers? Will you dedicate your time and money? Will you show empathy? Will you promise to be an ally and remain silent no longer when faced with injustice? CSU, we do not need to dream. Merely act in good faith. Practice daily acts of empathy. Empathy is a daily practice. And build the tomorrow that we want to live in together. CSU, we do not need to dream. Thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of your day. I'm Panama Soweto. It's another blessing to be here again. Thank you to Amber and the rest of the staff. Thank you, Parker. Thank you, Lars. Thank you, DJ. Thank you, Dwayne. Thank you so much. Thank you.
The first law of thermodynamics states that energy cannot be created nor destroyed, which is to say that everything around us, including us, is recycled energy as ancient as time itself. That means the legs we use to walk are made of the same legs they used to walk from Selma to Montgomery. That means the hands we use to write are made of the same hands used to write, and still I rise. That means the heads we hold high are the same heads that were held down as the ships went through the Middle Passage. That means the voices we use to talk are made of the same vocal cords used to sing, I say a little prayer, and to utter the words that ring true to this day, I have a dream. That means when we feel too tired, too overwhelmed, like everything is just too much, we must remember we are using borrowed energy. We are using borrowed strength. Strength that carried our people up mountains and through oceans, strength that has held us together up until this point. We are using borrowed skin, skin that has been thickened from lashing upon lashing upon lashing. The first law of thermodynamics states that energy cannot be created nor destroyed. Neither can we. Thank you to our wonderful words being spoken. Thank you both. We are blessed to have an alum right here in Fort Collins with such remarkable talent. Miss Embry, known as Peaches, performs often for our community with her band, so please check her out. Please join me on this chant that JC is going to present. He will say everything bolded in black, and you will repeat after him with what is written in red.
All right. Oh yeah, it's up on the screen. We practiced this. This is awesome. All right. Okay. So thank you so much for being here, and I'm so excited to connect with you in this way. I come from a call and response community of slam poetry, and so I need to feel that energy when I say the bolded words. Let's repeat in the same cadence. Let's see if we can get it together in the same cadence. If we need to stop and pause and take a look around, we can do that too. All right, does that feel good? All right, let's see if we can get this together. The louder our voice. Oh, I like that. That was just a test. Let's do that again. The louder our voice, the more we stand together. The more hands we interlock, the more we light our candles together. Wow. Y'all been to church once or twice, huh? Okay, all right, we going to the next slide. We good? The louder our voice, the more we stand together, the more hands we interlock, the more we light our candles together.
Thank you for joining in the chant. Let us remember beyond today that the more hands that are interlocked, the heavier the burden we can all lift. Again, a special thank you to the March leaders for keeping Dr. King's dream alive through your work. The volunteers and LSC staff who were instrumental in making this event possible. Thank you, Mr. Panama Soweto. Your message was captivating, and last but not least, thank you to everyone for attending today. Please join us in the hall for our community resource fair that will be open for 45 minutes. And before we close, please remember this is a celebration. So let's celebrate by singing happy birthday to Dr. King. And thank you and have a wonderful afternoon. Birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Thank you. Hey, Stevie Wonder.